connection comes before solving any problem. I'm going to say that again. Getting connected comes before solving any significant problem. And by significant problem, I mean something that you are not capable of doing, or not capable of doing easily, or not capable of doing well, meaning like this is a dilemma, this is a problem, this is something you haven't been able to solve, somebody you haven't been able to deal with successfully. Okay. Now, if we're talking about, I gotta go make myself a cup of coffee. Well, that's a problem. I ran out of coffee. Oh, I got a big problem here. Well, I can solve that. I know how to do that. What I'm talking about is the stuff that you've hit the wall on, and you've tried what you've tried, and you've tried it, and there you go. It's not working. Connection comes before solving it. Now, basically, what we're talking about here. Now, I want you to get how profoundly deep and important this is. That you have a design as a human being. Okay. See my hands here on the screen? I'm doing this. That what my hands are doing, they're getting knitted together. Okay. One of my favorite verses is in Ecclesiastes, where Solomon says, two, okay, here's one, right? Here's two. Two are better than one, because if you fall down, one's there to pick you back up. And then if you lie down and it's cold, somebody's there to warm you up. But also, he says, but a cord of three is not easily broken. One of my favorite verses in the New Testament, many places, Paul says that our hearts are to be knitted together in love, knitted together. One of my other favorite verses, it says the whole body, meaning all of us peeps down here, it says heals itself, okay, connected to the head. It heals itself through its joints and sinews, everything that's wired together, as each part of that body does its work. So if I got an infected finger and I put it in a drawer and tell it to read a book on anatomy, self-help, right? What's that anatomy book going to do? It's going to tell that finger, you better get connected to the body. Get your connection. Why? Because the body's going to supply the energy. It's going to send new oxygen out there. It's going to send new materials that it derives from all the food that you eat and broke down the nutrients, and that's going to develop new cells. Your immune system's going to run help, stand up against that bad guy or whatever that infection is. It's going to actually pull it out of you. It's going to take the pain, it's going to bring it back and run it through the system. And you're going to have an internal dialysis that goes on. It's going to clean it all up. Okay. And then it's going to take what's not useful to you in that infection, and you're going to eliminate it. That body's going to help you do a lot of stuff. And also, those eyes are going to read a book, or those ears are going to listen to a podcast. It's going to tell you, okay, here's what you do with that finger tomorrow and the next day and the next day, and on and on and on. But that infected finger by itself is not going to solve that problem. And if you notice, a baby comes into the world, and what is their job description for 1 full year thereabouts? What is it? Get connected, kid. Yeah. No, but I want to go to college. Get connected, kid. No, I want to play golf. Get connected, kid. And you notice they're not even saying, I want to go to college or want to play golf. Why? Because they can't until they get connected. Because the connection and the bonding is going to build the brain and the strength that's able to go do that. Why does a Navy SEAL land behind enemy lines? And the first thing they do is they answer 3 questions. Number 1, where am I? We need to know where we are at every given moment. How are you feeling? What are you thinking? Are you falling down? Are you addicted? Where am I? Number two, where's the enemy? What is the big problem here? What's the danger? What do I need to be aware of? It's going to do me in. Might be that addiction, might be that person, might be that depression. And then the third thing, and all of these questions, as the SEALs tell me, they're not even in a linear order. They are all at once. They're asking themselves, where am I? Where's the enemy? And number three, where is my buddy? Now, what's the most important question of those three that even the highest performers known on the planet, the most important question they ask themselves, where's my buddy? I think, why would that question be more important than the first two? Where's the enemy? Where am I? Because you cannot know the answer to the first two, but if you know the answer to the third one, where's my buddy? Then the created order that God designed the universe with kicks in to action. Solomon said it. Woe to him who walks alone. Two are better than one. For if one falls down, he can pick him up, or if he gets cold, he can lie down with him and get warm. And a cord of three is not easily broken. If I know where my buddy is, he can tell me where the enemy is, and he can tell me where we are. Come on, guys. So that's why I say you're dealing with a difficult person and you don't have the strength to set that limit that you need to set and stick to it. Well, you get grounded in your support system, and what happens? That strength comes into you, and then you can go back and deal with it. And then you go back and do the, pit stop. What does a race car do? It goes and fights the war, and then it pulls off and gets connected. All the people come give it fuel and come help it, get some air in the tires, all that stuff. So it's your support system that's going to fuel you and fix you and heal you and wipe your tears away and help your wounds that you get when you go out there and you have the difficult thing to do. And they will strengthen you. And I'll finish after I tell you one quick story that illustrates this. Remember one time I was doing a group, and this young woman in there had a bad boyfriend. And when I say bad boyfriend, what I mean is that he was not abusive at all, any of that, but he was not good for her. He got away from some of her values to please him. He also was pretty self-centered, not a lot about her in the relationship, not a lot of, giving and sacrificing for her and stuff like that, but very charming, very enjoyable guy to be around. He wasn't, it's one of those situations. A lot of charm, a lot of talent, a lot of ability. Everybody loved him, but not good for her. Okay, so she breaks up. Okay, she breaks up. Well, not too many days later, she's in the depths of the loneliness and all that, and he would call her, or she would text him or call him or whatever, and they'd start talking, and guess what? They're back together. We had so many good times. Why can't we can make this work? Yes, come on out, and they're back in it. And then what happens? It wouldn't work. And then she'd break up. And she'd get lonely and depressed, right? And lose hope and cry and cry and cry. And then what would happen? Somehow that magic phone began to connect them back. Well, I'm just thinking about all the good times and all of our plans, and they're in that cycle, right? Because there's so much good, right? And when she would lose a relationship, she'd long for that good, and on and on and on. And then she'd get back in it. She's back in the same situation. So she's in this group. This group's trying to get her out of this. And they're just hammering her, after a couple of iterations of this. And then so finally she got to the point, the group had, it strengthened her, right? She's going to end it. She knows this is not good for her long term. The guy's not getting any wake up calls soon that anybody can see. And if he's getting them, he's not interested in them. So she's going to end it. Okay. So They send her out there. She comes back to group the next, whenever it was. The group goes, what happened? She said, well, I did it. They go, and they start cheering her. And she goes, but then they go, oh no, here we go. She did it. She said, but then a couple of days later, he calls and she said, we just started talking about why do we really want to end this? Because there's so much good and they loved each other so much and all of this. And she said, they decided, well, let's just come over. Let's just talk. She said, okay, I'll come over. And the group is sitting there and they're going, oh crap, are not again. Here we go again. So she said, I hung up the phone and she said, I got up to get dressed. And then she looked at one of the women in the group and she goes, and then I heard your voice in my head say, what are you doing? And then she looked at another one of the women. She goes, and then I heard you saying, are you crazy? And then I heard you saying, you deserve somebody better than this. And then I heard you saying, she said, you guys are like screaming in my head. They're looking at her like, what? And she goes, so I can't do this with you guys screaming in my head. So I picked up the phone. I called and said, you know what? No, this time we're done. I can't do this. Bye. That was it. But see, the connection preceded the ability to solve the problem. And so that's why we talk about this so much, because none of us is a self-sustaining unit, okay? We were created beings, and created beings draw life from outside of themselves. A baby draws life from outside of themselves, a child, a middle schooler, a high schooler, a young 20-something, somebody killing it in their career, a CEO, and retirees. We all draw life outside of ourselves. And if we don't have that connection first, that life's not going to go well. Ask an Olympic athlete if they got a coach, and if they got a team. Just ask them. Hey, we got any solo flyers here at the Olympics? Self-helpers? Self-made men or women? No, I don't think so. Looks like they're all walking around a little bunch with uniforms on, look pretty much the same. Get connected, guys.